Hello, Path 11 podcast listeners. Thanks for joining us. We have a member from MBT Events, My Big Toe Events. Keith Warner is here to talk to us about our good friend Tom Campbell's tour around the world, the Cultural Connection. Hey, Keith, thanks for being here with us.
You're welcome, April. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, so we're just curious to know what's going on with MBT Events, and I see that you guys are hosting a pretty big tour, if it's able to happen, in this Cultural Connection with our good friend Tom Campbell. So tell us about it.
You know, that's right. I mean, the hope to happen is the operative word there, April. We took a step back about 18 months ago from stuff. I know a lot of other people were asking Tom to come and do events with them. So we kind of took a step back for a little while, just did one or two pieces here and there. We did something with Tom recently in Atlanta. But there's been a lot of requests from further afield, places like Australia and New Zealand. Tom sold a lot of books there, and there's been requests for the last several years. And as he's become more successful recently and better known, we thought maybe the time was right. In addition, because Damon Gameau's That Sugar film came out and Tom was in that, that's an Australian film, actually won an Australian version of an Oscar. So, Damon used Tom in that a great deal. So the profile on Tom has been raised substantially in Australia. So we thought, why not see what the potential is for going down to Australia? And the MBT motto has always been really keep moving forward. So when we started talking to Tom and his wife Pamela about going to Australia, it didn't seem logical to go all that way and then kind of come back the way we came. So we quickly started talking about, well, what do we think about the possibility of making it a longer tour? Excuse me. And we quickly found a route that we thought would work. Tom has got readers in India. There's a lot of engineers and people in India, and it's a very spiritual place. That was a natural one. We were always planning on going back to Europe anyway. So, yeah, a route was formed, but it is an expensive procedure. You know, there's no doubt about it. And everyone says to us, you know, when's Tom coming here, there, and everywhere? But we've always put our own money into these the things we've done with Tom, and it is a niche market, and I won't pretend it's not. So it's difficult for us to recoup our money. And so on something as big as the Cultural Connection Tour of 2017, it would be a huge risk, which is why we're hoping to gauge people's interest and try and get bookings by a certain date in order that we can gauge whether we really can go ahead and do the Cultural Connection Tour. But we really hope we can.
So basically what you guys need is for people to commit and book that they would actually attend the event, and then with those sales you guys would be able to take Tom and do these bookings and help fund your travel.
Yeah, you've pretty much got it there, April. I mean, obviously it is a long way out, and it is difficult for people to commit at a certain length of time out. But I guess, you know, if there was a rock concert, a farewell concert by a band you really wanted to see coming up a year, 18 months' time, I think you'd try and work out how to be there. So we hope that people can commit, but we understand that a lot of people won't be able to, which is why we hope to be a part of the way. You know, if we get to a certain stage, then we will take a leap of faith in MBT fans around the world that they will make bookings, and hopefully by, say, the end of May, maybe we can extend that to the end of June. If we're at a certain position where we think we are going to get enough to cover the tour, then we will go ahead. It's never been about making money for us, but with something like this, a project of this size, we can't take the same kind of risks that we would take doing a workshop in, say, California or New York on its own.
Right, absolutely. Makes sense. Now, some of our listeners might be new to Tom Campbell, and they might not be familiar with MBT Events. So can you just kind of discuss and talk about how MBT Events came to be and what it is that you guys actually do in coordination with Tom?
Absolutely. Well, you know, Tom is a former NASA physicist. He is now somewhat retired. They ask him back occasionally, but he wrote a book, My Big Toe, a toe being an acronym for theory of everything. And Donna first came across that. Donna is my wife. Donna first came across that in, I think, 2004, 2005, maybe. We were living in Burgundy, France at the time, and Donna had always been looking for a bigger picture answer to the questions of life. And when she came across Tom's book, she said, well, you know, this really is the one. And she had a few questions, and she ended up somehow getting a call or an email at first from Tom himself. And he said, well, can I help you? And Donna asked her questions, and she said, you know what, you really have a fantastic book here. This trilogy is something else. You really need to come to Europe. There's nothing like this that I've ever come across in Europe. Obviously, I'm English, but Donna is actually American, but we were living in Europe, as I say, at the time. And Tom said, well, I really don't know anyone in Europe. And we said, well, you kind of do now. So we organised the first one, which was London, I think, in 2007, 2008. We paired up with the London College of Spirituality, VAS, over in London. We did that, and there wasn't many people that attended, because Tom wasn't very well known at the time. But through a process of self-learning and self-teaching, we managed to get some footage of this thing edited. And, that's been watched by an awful lot of people. So it was never about the number of people who attended. It was about the number of people afterwards who saw the footage. We obviously had a great time with Tom. We didn't make money, but we had a great time. We hung out with the man himself and became very firm friends with Tom and his wife. And so we were talking to Tom after the event about what we could do to help. And we were in the process of thinking about leaving France to come back to the United States. And we know that Tom is very, very busy. He still had his NASA stuff at the time. And then he had emails to answer, and he was really busy. And he never had the time really to look at his own schedule and say, well, what can I do? Where can we go? So Don and I said, well, why don't we take that on? We will become MBT Events, literally My Big Toe Events, and we will put on events and people can come through us. We won't just do our own MBT events. We will obviously do those wherever we can. But anyone who wants Tom to go, we will try and see if it's feasible, what's involved. And Tom has always only ever gone to people. He's never asked for anything. He's never asked for a speaking fee or anything. All he's ever wanted is transportation costs for him and Pamela and accommodation. So, but Tom was busy, so we had to work out who could do what and when. And so that's how MBT Events was born. And since then, we've done, I guess, a dozen projects with Tom, although none as big as this one.
Now, what's new with the workshops that you guys are doing? I remember, Mike and I, we came to Toronto and we got a chance to film there.
Absolutely.
And to sit in on some of his workshops. But is it any different than how it was when Tom used to first speak at them?
I think so. I mean, there's a few things that I can think of that are different. For one, the first thing, most importantly, I think Tom has got more used to speaking now. In the early days, very much the scientist. And whilst he is still first and foremost a scientist, he has managed to tailor his presentation a little bit for people to understand a little bit easier what is behind the My Big Toe theory. The other thing is that Tom has expanded his theory. There are new parts of it. We recently did something in Atlanta where he talked about how MBT theory can explain chaos theory as another part. And so there are new aspects to My Big Toe from when you saw us in Toronto or indeed Asheville, which was, some time ago now. But the other thing is that it is called the Cultural Connection Tour for a reason. The Cultural Connection Tour came about because we got talking to an absolutely wonderful guy called Kepa in New Zealand. His full name I cannot pronounce, but he is a Maori chieftain. And he is a big fan of My Big Toe. He sees a lot of correlation between My Big Toe, Tom's work, and his people's beliefs. And he wants to introduce that into his culture. So he said, would you be interested in coming and speaking to my people in New Zealand? And we're like, well, that sounds like a great idea. And he said, obviously it's not just our culture. It resonates with a lot of cultures around the world. And we would like to lead by example of showing how My Big Toe is relevant to our culture and others. So that was where the idea of the cultural connection was born. And we're going to take it from there. So it'll be a little bit of My Big Toe theory in the workshop. It'll be a little bit of new information. I think a lot of people are going to ask Tom about his new book, which is Primal Male, Primal Female. He's got the first 20 pages of that, or 20 pages or so, up on his website. So people can find that if they want to see where he's going with that. But I think that's a long way off from happening because he is still busy with other things. So there will be a little bit of MBT theory, a little bit of the new information, and then a little bit of the cultural connection. And it is going to be relevant and tailored to each specific country where we go on the tour.
Great. Now, where is there information for people to see where exactly you guys are thinking about taking Tom throughout. Where can they find the information to either purchase tickets or to submit a registration to be able to attend?
Okay. The first place to go is the mbtevents.com website. We have a future events page which lists everything that is upcoming with Tom, not just our events, but other things. For example, he is going to be in Calgary in April, Calgary, Canada, with Beth Haley. He will be doing something in June in the Boston area with Linda Sterling. That is a forum get-together. And then something in October, hopefully in Redondo Beach with Dagda McCullahan. But you can also find all the information about the Cultural Connection Tour. We are planning 5 workshops. The first one will be in New Zealand on the Coromandel Peninsula, March the 4th and March the 5th. The second one will be the following weekend, March the 11th and March the 12th, bearing in mind this is 2017. So March the 11th and March the 12th in Sydney, Australia. We are then going to take a bit of a break and a long-haul flight before we do New Delhi, India on March the 25th and March the 26th. Then Frankfurt, Germany, April the 1st, April the 2nd, and New York City on April the 8th and April the 9th. Tickets are officially priced at $500 for the 2 days, but at the moment we are offering an early booking discount of 20%, bringing the price of the ticket down to $400. Now, some people have said to us, that is a fair bit of money, but there is a lot of cost involved in this, and it is a niche market, so we don't unfortunately get the kind of numbers at an event with Tom that would mean that we could bring the price down considerably. Having said that, we hope that even after we pass the early booking deadline of May 31st, we hope to keep the ticket price down to that $400 and not put it up to the $500. Response has been slow at the moment, but we are making ticket sales. There's no doubt that it is happening, and there is a lot of interest. But like I said earlier, people are a little concerned about booking this far out. They don't know where they're going to be. So we understand that, especially when you've got busy cities. We talked about this cultural connection, and I think this cultural thing is, I don't know what I'm doing. I cannot commit to something that far in advance. So if the people who want to come cannot commit, I think it will be MBT Events' job to commit on their behalf and say, okay, hopefully it will all fall into place. And the larger consciousness system, of which Tom talks about a great deal in My Big Toe, the larger consciousness system will find a way for us to be able to successfully do the tour.
Absolutely. I'm sure it will happen. Now, have you guys considered maybe even setting something up where people who aren't going to be traveling but are supporters of Tom and have had a chance to see him here in the States might even want to donate some money, even if it's $10 or $20, to just because they do believe in the information that he has is so important to spread around the world that they could just donate?
I really appreciate that question, April. Thank you very much. Actually, yes, there is a PayPal donate button on the Future Events page of our website. We have had some very generous, very kind donations from people who aren't able to attend but do want to do exactly that, help Tom and MBT Events spread that message out. So yes, there is something that people can do by going to the Future Events page of our website and donating.
Okay, great. Good to know. Yeah, we hope that maybe we could even get a chance to see you guys when you come to Boston, because we're only a couple of hours away and the film will be out by then. So maybe we can even partner up like we did that one time in North Carolina and, show the film one night or something like that. Or if, Tom wants to show it afterwards. But,
I think Linda's gang would love to see that. I'm not so sure at this moment in time whether Donna and I are actually going to be there. We have other commitments at the time. We're going to try and make it up to Linda's event. Linda is lovely, and the group that she has up there is fantastic. But we'll see. We'll see about that. One other thing I wanted to mention about two other things really about the cultural connection is, firstly, for those people who may not be sure whether they want to or can afford to attend a full 2-day workshop, we hope to do a precursor on each of the workshops and do a 2-hour Meet Tom Campbell on the Friday evening. Now, we can't promise that at this time, but if we can get a venue that is relatively inexpensive, we hope to do a 2-hour Meet Tom Campbell where he'll give a few insights into what My Big Toe is about for people who are not really too sure whether they'll want to attend a full workshop and commit $400 to it. So we hope to do that in each one. So Friday evening, say 7 till 9 in each of the 5 locations. People have asked us in Frankfurt, Germany, whether we will be doing a live translation into German. Yes, we hope to. We were originally going to go to France, various reasons, nothing to do with terrorism like people think, but for various reasons, with Tom's book being out in German and the fact that we have the support of a few organizations in Germany, we think that the Frankfurt one will certainly be the biggest workshop we do on the Cultural Connection Tour. It's certainly leading in ticket sales at the moment, and we will almost certainly have a live translator. I'm not sure whether, with the costs involved, whether we can afford a professional translator. So if anyone is out there in Germany and thinks, well, I'm not sure whether I know Tom Campbell enough to want to spend the money to come to a workshop, but they are prepared to do 2 days of live translation, doesn't have to be perfect, then I would love it if they could email me at Keith, Keith, at mbtevents.com. The other thing, actually, every time I think of this, I think of another thing I can say. So the first thing is that we do hope to do at least one web conference, webinar. I'm not even sure. See, I'm not technically involved, but we hope to be able to stream the event for a minimal cost, at least one of the places, maybe 2. I know there are technical people in Sydney and probably Frankfurt who can help us with that. Certainly Oliver, who does the fireside chat for Tom, we'll be able to do something in Germany. So we hope to stream it live for people who cannot attend. Obviously not the same as physically being there, but the next best thing for people who can't be there. We do have Facebook pages. There is a great Facebook page called The Cultural Connection. You can find that. Each country has a specific Facebook page for the Cultural Connection Tour, but you will find that under MBT Events. And also, we have set up a new MBT Global Family Facebook group. Now, I'm leaving that open. People have said to me, why are we leaving the group open? I don't want to censor it. I want people to be able to explain their ideas, their questions, their thoughts, their experiences of anything MBT related. We have about 250 members there around the world, and that is growing. So anything anyone wants to put there, any questions they have, any offer of help, if they can edit like Mike does here, or if they know technical audio, photography, anything that people think that they want to help contribute to the cause, it is always much appreciated.
That's great. I'm so excited for you guys. It's so neat to see how much you guys are just growing and all the stuff that you're doing. Now, you've known Tom probably really close to 10 years. Maybe
it is. It's going on a decade. It is.
Yeah. So, just one quick personal question before we wrap up is, how has your life changed just working with Tom for over 10 years and being in such close contact with him? I know that's probably a loaded question, but
no, that's a really loaded question, but that's fine. When Donna was reading My Big Toe and we first went to London with Tom, I'll be honest, and I thought, well, you know what? I don't know what to make of this. I really do not. But with the people we've met, the stories we hear, and the more time I spend around Tom, I realize that he is something incredibly unique, incredibly special. You guys know that. You guys saw that when you started doing the Path series and talked to Tom. And the first time I ever went to Tom's house and actually spent a couple of days there, I was just blown away by things that I felt, the things that I noticed, and I realized that what Donna had been telling me was so true and accurate. So it's fair to say that I came in, like Tom tells me to do, or tells everyone to do, come in, be skeptical. Do not believe My Big Toe. Do not disbelieve it. Just be skeptical. And remember that it is not proof. It is not the truth. It is nothing other than a model for you to go out and discover whether it is true for yourself. So Tom gives the analogy of My Big Toe as being, you cannot eat someone else's meal, and neither can you have their My Big Toe experience. It's just to say that is his personal experience. It's not pride of ownership, as he says, but it's just the fact that was his big toe, and he encourages people to go out and get their own big toe. So that is what I have done over the last 10 years, and I have grown spiritually. I have grown as a person, just generally, and we are very fortunate. We love what we do with Tom and hanging out with them. Obviously, we have an inside track, which is very convenient, but that's not the reason we do it. We do it for meeting the people and for hearing the stories of how Tom has changed their lives.
Yeah, great. And anything we can do to help to spread the word, we post this stuff on Facebook, just having you on today. We know we're going to reach a pretty nice size audience for you guys too. So hopefully people will either get on the page and donate or actually sign up and register for one of the workshops.
The other thing, April, is if people are in cities around the US or Canada or wherever, really, if they want to email me and say, well, look, I don't know, am I the only one in my city? At the moment, we're trying to put MBT readers in touch with each other. So we're building databases of all the cities. So, the bigger cities are obviously going to grow faster. And some places it may be state or in some instances even countries where we can put people in touch with each other who are MBT readers. We encourage them to get together, talk MBT stuff and see where it goes from there. We also have a great mailing list. I've sent out a newsletter recently to some 3,000 close friends.
Yeah, we got that. That's great. Thanks for actually putting us in there too.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And it's thrilling stuff. So yeah, it's all going in the right direction. There are some people that have talked to Tom and they want him on shows, and there's talk about him going back on Art Bell's show. So there were some big ones, Joe Rogan. So if these things happen, it's all about exposure and keeping the ball rolling forward, really.
Absolutely, yeah. And hey, on a side note, are you guys still doing Salts of the Earth?
We are Salts of the Earth. We are doing Salts of the Earth. I've just rebuilt my web store. I lost all the web store recently, and we've just rebuilt that. And today I'm making Millionaire Salt, black truffle, porcini mushroom, and red wine.
Ooh, very nice. And are you guys still doing vendor stuff, or are you just basically selling the salts online now?
We are still we're in about 50, 60 stores around the country now.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's been a bit quiet recently. I hadn't really noticed because I've been so busy thinking about how to promote the MBT stuff. We're talking to the Times of India, it is actually the largest English language speaking newspaper in the world. Their online speaking tree, which is their consciousness, new age, if you will, supplement, their online version has 1.2 million readers.
Wow.
So if we and we're about to do a series of articles there. Fortunately, the Larger Consciousness System gave us Devendra in New Delhi, who is former media, works to Save the Children. He knows the people at Speaking Tree. So we always seem to be given little nudges into what we need when we need it. So, Kepa comes along and says Cultural Connection New Zealand. And that was the impetus for us to say, OK, let's do the tour. Then we suddenly start talking about India and we get Devendra and everything falls into place. And that's the beauty of it. We somehow we don't make a fortune. That is why we do Salt to the Earth. If we could be full time with My Big Toe, that would be fantastic. And I think Pamela would agree. If we could all make money from it, but that's not what it's about. Tom doesn't want to charge a speaking fee, and quite rightly so. We want to make sure that whoever needs to be at any one of the Cultural Connection workshops or any of the others, anyone who needs to be there should be there. If they can't afford it, let us know. We have scholarship programs. We try to make sure that whoever needs to be there is there.
Great. Yeah. And, you also mentioned, too, I did get a chance to see the documentary, that sugar film that Damon made, and, saw Tom in there. So that was really cool. And that's a great documentary. Yeah, they did a good job. And, with your films and stuff. And how's part 3 coming along? It's coming. We're getting close. Can't wait.
Really?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
We're
Good.
Working on it all day today, and we're hoping to set the pre-orders up in the next month or so and get it out.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, we wish you all the best with that. I know there's some other people that have suggested things. There's a guy out in California who's in Hollywood in the film industry. He's inquired a couple of times about a feature length on Tom, a proper one. So I don't know whether that'll happen. Then of course there's Max and the film crew who are in New York. They've done something with Tom. So it's all good. Yeah. All the exposure is fantastic. I don't think it can be too much. Everyone comes at it from a different angle and gives a different perspective on Tom Campbell, the man. It's onwards and upwards.
Well, thanks so much, Keith. It was really great to talk to you and get you on air, and we hope you guys, I know you guys will make this happen.
Well, let's hope so. April, thank you very much for the opportunity to tell you all about it.
Absolutely. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, take care. Thank you.
You're welcome. If you'd like more information about our films or to purchase our DVDs, you can head on over to our website at thepastseries.com. They're also available to purchase on Amazon.com.
Our films are also streaming online at vimeo.com, gaiamtv.com, and iTunes.
If you have a show suggestion or would like us to interview someone specifically, please feel free to shoot us an email at info@thepastseries.com or send us a tweet at thepastseries.
Please rate and review us in iTunes and subscribe.
We hope you enjoyed the show.